Ole Miss is going to be a college football playoff team. They got a win yesterday in Norman, Oklahoma, over the Sooners. Final score, Ole Miss 34, Oklahoma 26. This reaction presented by BetMGM. If you're an Ole Miss fan, got something to talk about here in a matter of moments relative to how I've treated y'all throughout the course of the season, so hang tight for that. If you're an Oklahoma fan, all is not lost. All your goals still in front of you, but like a safety net is gone and the sense of urgency should be all the way ramped up, and you just don't look how you looked early on in the year. We'll unpack that as well. So if you're a college football sicko, 1, make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. 2, make sure you're following on all the social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, heck, TikTok if you feel like it, at JD PicKell. A lot of reactions there in real time for us to talk ball as soon as things hit 000, but obviously we'll talk about it in the morning after as well on this platform on the On3 YouTube channel. So I want to start with this. Ole Miss, I have picked against y'all multiple times this year. I have doubted Ole Miss more than my fair share of times this year. With that being said, I have prepared a statement. It is with gratitude that I am decommitting from doubting Ole Miss. Now, to those who doubted Ole Miss and the community that it has been a fun ride. And for the past 9 weeks, it's felt like family. You all took in a kid from Southern California and showed him how to refuse to believe in what Lane Kiffin was doing and what Ole Miss was doing. For those 9 weeks, we hit all the buzz phrases. They can't stop the run. That was a fun one. They got a Division II quarterback. At some point in time, surely he will turn back into a pumpkin, right? Can you really live through the portal? That was a fun one. And then, of course, the flavor of the week this past week is Ole Miss focus with all the jersey swaps, all the coaching gear swaps with Lane Kiffin and the Florida job. So it is with gratitude that I have decommitted from doubting Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss is too freaking good. Lane Kiffin has more answers than Jeopardy, and Pete Golding's defense is more timely than a Chick-fil-A drive-thru. With that being said, I am 100% committed to believing in Ole Miss and the college football playoff appearance that is now inevitable. Respect my decision. Didn't have enough time to get a Hayes Fawcett graphic for that one. Also, I don't think he would have done that for us, but that's the reality now. I'm done doubting Ole Miss. And here's the thing. Ole Miss makes 0 sense. 0 sense. What I just said, all those reasons why it was valid to doubt Ole Miss, in my opinion, going into those games, into this season really, it all checks out logic-wise. You should not be able to rebuild through the portal every year. You should not take a Division II quarterback and drop 34 on one of the best defenses in college football's head against one of the best defensive coordinators in college football. And Brent Venables shouldn't be able to do it. And Lane Kiffin shrugs that off and did it. And guess what? They are staring down the barrel of being a college football playoff team. Andy Staples has a great article out right now over on all3.com talking about the Lane Kiffin situation relative to Florida, which we'll talk about here in a second. But the whole basis of that article is that you are now, if you're an Ole Miss fan or a college football sicko, when you look at the college football playoff projections, you can more or less Sharpie in Ole Miss as a college football playoff team. South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, and at Mississippi State is all you have left in front of you. You can lose one of those. You can lose one and still be a college football playoff team at 10-2. The only loss for Ole Miss to this point in the year is a game you were up 9 in the second half against Georgia and lost that one in shootout fashion. All you did wrong there was have to punt the ball a couple of times. It is what it is. Lane Kiffin is a freaking mastermind offensively. Mastermind. Like, you knew he was playing chess when they did the whole deal of we're going to huddle until the play clock gets within inside of 15 and Venables no longer has communication to his guy on the field to try and get him in the right spot. You knew he was playing chess at that point in time, but just look at the answers Trinidad Chambliss was dealing with throughout the game. I mean, we talked about all the stats for Oklahoma going into that game and the pressure rate and the first downs allowed. Ole Miss tore them up, dude. I mean, it was hibachi out there. Just Kiffin had every answer for Trinidad Chambliss in the book, and they maximized on it. So Trinidad Chambliss executed at such a high level. This dude's a Heisman candidate. This dude is playing at a Heisman caliber. I mean, over 300 yards again yesterday. He's gone for over 250 yards passing every single game he started at Ole Miss. He is on another level. And a lot of that is obviously the Kiffin game plan. A lot of that is his poise. I think the marriage, though, of Kiffin's game plan and Trinidad Chambliss' skill set, and most importantly, the overall confidence you have to feel if you're Trinidad Chambliss by way of Kiffin's believing in you, has to count for something. because I don't think it's irresponsible to assume there's probably a recalibration you have to go through psychologically going from Division II to the SEC, and he hasn't missed a beat. And again, some of this is Trinidad Chambliss' wiring, 110% true. But I think a lot of this, too, is the confidence that Chambliss probably has to have in what Kiffin is calling and the way that Kiffin makes him feel when he's out there just dialing it up against the best defense in college football, arguably up there in the SEC at least, and what they were getting done. So overall, man, the misdirection, the eye candy, the scheming guys open against that defense, if you're doing that against Oklahoma, I don't think there's a defense out there that's going to give you more problems the rest of the way, at least in the regular season, and we'll see in the college football playoff. Like I said, Oklahoma is one of the best defenses in college football. How many defenses are there better than them? Like Ohio State? Yeah, probably. Past that, I think you're having a discussion about a number of teams. I don't think there's like a clear-cut team that's much better than Oklahoma outside of Ohio State on the defensive side. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is the defense continues to show up, what I mentioned in my decommitment statement, in a timely fashion. Like, yes, there was a couple of explosive plays allowed against Oklahoma, but all the explosive plays, to me, really came on either a busted assignment, so it's a self-inflicted wound, or two, a broken play. So when you look at how Ole Miss is aligning for success and how they're dialing it up, there's not a lot of things left to be desired for my money from what Ole Miss is doing defensively. Now, is it perfect every Saturday? No, but guess what? It's good enough. It has been more than good enough in every game but one, and that one game was against a Kirby Smart coach Georgia team on the road. So I think you kind of go, it is what it is there. You've earned margin now if you're Ole Miss. I just told you can lose one of these games that you have left on your schedule and still be a college football playoff team. And it's so funny because last year was supposed to be the year for Ole Miss. Talk about all the NIL dollars going in and Jackson Dart coming back for another year. He's going to be a first-round draft pick as he was, and you have Walter Nolan being a first-round draft pick, and all those things. It all came together last year, and then it didn't. And this year was the year we were all wondering about. Hey, Austin Simmons, we like him, but what's he going to be? Austin Simmons isn't even the guy for you right now. Another portal class. Hey, at what point does Lane Kiffin's portal magic run out? Not this year. Not this year. And going back to the article by Andy Staples, he makes a great point. If Ole Miss this season can do what we think they can go do, which is winning a national championship, if that is still the ceiling for them, why would Lane Kiffin leave for Florida? And we'll have a separate video on that on the channel, so another reason to be subscribed. But like legitimately, if that's the case here for Ole Miss, is it going to be a lesser setup for success situation here next year, the year after? Because again, we keep telling you, D2 quarterback, a whole team put together through the portal. I don't know. I don't know why I'd leave if I was Lane Kiffin in the context of what's happening this year and what they could be here going forward. Now, for Oklahoma, there's a number of things to talk about here. The defense is one thing. I think in some respects, you say Lane Kiffin's a psychopath when it comes to dialing up the offense, so you take that with a grain of salt. I don't think that the Oklahoma defense is fraudulent by any means. The thing that I'm more concerned about is the offensive side, because there's two thoughts I have here. One, John Mateer still doesn't look like himself. I'd like to think that he's getting healthier. I'd like to think that he's, starting to get his feet more and more under him. But still, you see him out there playing ball. He doesn't look like he's playing with the same reckless abandonment that we saw him play with early in the year. And there was an interview during the preseason that I saw of John Mateer with the Oklahoma social team talking about, defining his own game and just kind of an introduction, if you will, to Oklahoma and what John Mateer was going to bring to the table. They asked him to describe his game. And he said, it's balls to the wall, it's creative. Neither of those things I think John Mateer is able to do at the highest level right now. And I don't think it's a thing for him psychologically. I think it's a physical thing for him. And maybe the physical goes into the psychological thing. Maybe you're still trusting yourself to go as hard as you want to with that hand where it's at post-surgery. I don't know. But with that being the case, you have to have other answers as an offense. Like John Mateer missed on some throws for sure. But Xavier Robinson was awesome yesterday in the second half. Oklahoma didn't have a ground game for the better part of those first two quarters. It felt like a little bit too little, too late in some respects against that other offense. There's no real base I don't think Oklahoma's working with, at least in the first half of that game, and I'm worried about them going forward here to get to where they want to go. Because, yes, you lost 2 games now. Yes, the safety net is gone, but all your goals are still in front of you. You can still go win out and be a college football playoff team yourself at 10-2, but if you don't find a way to establish a base for your offense, then everything else with John Mateer being awesome off script and the passing game downfield being set up, all those things are sort of a moot point because you have nothing to really set it up. If I don't respect your run game, then I'm just keying on the pass game. I'm keying on John Mateer, and if we shut that down, we're sitting pretty. And it was kind of what Ole Miss did for the better part of those first, again, I say 2, maybe even 2.5, 3 quarters yesterday for Oklahoma. When you have no base, you have limited answers, and that was kind of what I saw from Oklahoma yesterday. So the hope is here for your Oklahoma. What you saw in the second half with Xavier Robinson, with what you saw from the offensive line, kind of getting their mojo, getting downhill, you'd hope that's a spark that carries you the rest of the way, but there's no guarantee. You got to have that to maximize John Mateer, and John Mateer clearly needs help because I don't think he's himself right now. So whenever you lose a football game, especially at home to a team like Ole Miss, there's usually a number of things that you have to have that you're not dialed in on or not be correct on when it comes to alignment, on defense, and all those things. But overall, I think Oklahoma has got to find a way to have a base offensively to get back right and finish this season and be a college football playoff team. Because if they can run the ball, I'm in on Oklahoma. But if they can't, it's going to be more unfortunate Sunday mornings for you if you're a Sooner fan. So Ole Miss, you're a playoff team. I don't know why Lane Kiffin would leave. We'll talk about that here on another video, so be subscribed and be on the lookout for that. Oklahoma, we got to find a way to get a base offensively. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Cato on the 1s and the 2s. Myself, JD PicKell. We will keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.